There is a woman who walks into a room and the atmosphere shifts, not because she is loud, but because she is whole. She lives alone, but she is not lonely. She sleeps in a bed with peace as her pillow and wakes up with purpose as her alarm clock. Her life is not defined by who comes and goes. It is defined by the God who stays. Some people whisper, "Why doesn't she have a man?" But they don't realize she doesn't need a man to complete her. She is already complete. This woman has been through enough storms to know that peace is too expensive to be traded for company. She has learned that sometimes you have to choose solitude over chaos, self-respect over validation, and purpose over romance. She is not against love. Oh, she believes in love, but she also believes that love should not cost you your mind, your calling, or your dignity. She has chosen to live in a way that honors the voice inside her more than the opinions outside of her. She lives alone because she knows the difference between being wanted and being valued. She lives alone because she refuses to shrink for the comfort of someone who doesn't see her worth. She lives alone because she has tasted the sweetness of freedom and will not trade it for the bitterness of compromise. And when the right one comes, if he comes, he won't have to tear down her walls to get in. He will be invited into her space because he has shown that he can protect, not plunder, build, not break, and love her as she already is, not as he wishes her to be. I am not waiting to be chosen. I was chosen before the foundation of the world. I am not living half a life until someone comes along. I am living the full life God gave me. We live in a time where people are desperate to be connected, to be chosen, to belong to someone. Social media feeds us fairy tales of smiling couples, candlelit dinners, and romantic trips. While love is beautiful, while companionship is a gift, it was never meant to be a substitute for your identity, your healing, or your purpose. You see, a half person looking for another half person doesn't create a whole. It creates a dependency, fragile connection built on the fear of being alone rather than the joy of truly being together. When you are not whole within yourself, you enter a relationship expecting the other person to fill every void, heal every wound, silence every insecurity. That's not love, that's pressure. Pressure destroys what love is supposed to build. Wholeness means you have taken the time to heal your past wounds, to understand your worth, to know that your value is not determined by someone's presence or absence. It means you can wake up in the morning and face your reflection with confidence, not because someone else told you that you are beautiful, because you know it deep within your soul. It's dangerous to skip the step of becoming whole. Because when you do, you risk attaching yourself to the wrong people simply because they offer attention. You start tolerating mistreatment because you're afraid no one else will want you. You start shrinking yourself to fit into spaces you were never meant to occupy. A whole person walks differently into a relationship. They are not there to complete you. They are there to complement you. They are not there to define you. They are there to walk alongside you as you both pursue your God-given purposes. A whole person does not cling out of fear. They connect out of love. Truth is, if you are not whole, you will be tempted to give away pieces of yourself to anyone who shows interest, till you are left wondering why you feel so empty. But when you are whole, you don't hand over your heart to anyone who knocks on the door. You wait for the one who values the treasure you are. And wholeness is not perfection. It's not about having every detail of your life figured out or never needing anyone. Wholeness simply means you are anchored. Your joy does not evaporate when someone leaves. Your peace is not destroyed because someone doesn't approve of you. Your identity is not rewritten based on how someone treats you. Some people fear wholeness because it requires solitude. It requires saying no when you'd rather say yes just to have someone there. It requires facing your own reflection without the distraction of another voice telling you who you are. But that time alone is where you discover your calling, where you build your resilience, where you cultivate the confidence to know that you are enough. Wholeness before partnership is like building a house before inviting a guest. You don't bring someone into a construction zone and then expect them to be comfortable. You take the time to lay the foundation, put up the walls, furnish the space. Then when the right person comes along, you can say, "This is my life. This is my purpose. This is my joy. You are welcome to share it. You are not required to complete it. Many relationships fail not because love wasn't there, but because wholeness wasn't there. Two broken people expecting each other to be the fix creates more wounds than healing. That's why your singleness is not a curse. It's a classroom. It's where you learn to love yourself deeply, where you find out what you will and will not accept, where you allow God to mold you into someone who can love and be loved without losing themselves in the process. When you are whole, rejection doesn't destroy you, it redirects you. When you are whole, you don't compete for love, you attract it by simply being who you are. When you are whole, you can walk away from what doesn't honor you, even if it's comfortable, because you know you are worthy of more. Don't rush into partnership because you're afraid of the whispers. Why are you still single? Don't let society convince you that you're incomplete without a relationship. You are not a puzzle piece waiting for the missing part. You are the whole picture. The right partner will not try to cut you into a shape that fits their needs. They will cherish the masterpiece you already are. Wholeness also protects you. When you are whole, you won't mistake manipulation for love. You won't confuse control for care. You won't accept less than you deserve because you know the difference between being loved and being used. Sometimes God will keep you single, not because he is punishing you, but because he is preparing you. He is strengthening your identity so that no relationship, good or bad, can make you forget who you are. He is showing you that you can stand alone so that when you do stand with someone, it's by choice, not desperation. You stop chasing love, and love starts finding you. Not because you are perfect, because you are secure, not because you are flawless, but because you are rooted. You radiate confidence, peace, and joy, things that are magnetic to the right heart. So, my friend, choose wholeness before partnership. Heal before you hold hands. Discover yourself before you discover someone else. Build your life before you build a relationship. And remember, someone can love you deeply. If you do not first love yourself, you will never truly receive it. You deserve a partnership that is not built on desperation, but on abundance. Two whole people joining together not to fill each other's emptiness, but to overflow into each other's lives. There comes a time in life when you realize that not all company is good company. You discover that having someone around is not the same as having someone who adds value to your life. You learn, sometimes the hard way, that the wrong voices can be louder than silence, and the wrong presence can be more painful than absence. Peace over company is the decision to protect your heart, your mind, and your space, even if it means walking alone. It's the wisdom to choose stillness over chaos, quiet over noise, and inner rest over external approval. So many people trade their peace for companionship because they're afraid of loneliness. They fill their lives with anyone who will answer the phone, anyone who will say, "I'm here," even if that person brings drama, confusion, and unrest. What is the point of having someone by your side if they rob you of the very peace you need to live? Peace is not just the absence of noise, it's the presence of calm. It's the stillness in your soul that comes from knowing you are safe, loved, and centered. And once you have tasted that kind of peace, you will not allow anyone to disrupt it for the sake of appearances. Some people might call you distant. They might say you've changed. They might even label you as cold. But the truth is, you've simply learned the value of peace. You've learned that peace is not negotiable. You've learned that some doors must stay closed, some calls must go unanswered, and some relationships must remain in the past because your peace is worth more than their presence. Peace over company is not about isolating yourself. It's about elevating yourself. It's about making the conscious decision that anyone who wants access to your life must meet the standard of bringing more peace, not less. And it's about realizing that solitude can be sacred when it's filled with purpose, healing, and rest. When you choose peace over company, you stop apologizing for protecting your space. You stop explaining why you no longer entertain certain conversations. You stop feeling guilty for needing time alone. You understand that you are not obligated to invite everyone into your personal world just because they want to be there. And yes, there will be seasons when choosing peace means walking away from people you love. not because they are evil, because their presence in your life is not aligned with where you're going. Sometimes the weight of certain relationships keeps you from rising higher. Sometimes the noise of certain voices keeps you from hearing God's whisper. Let me tell you something. Loneliness is not the absence of people, it's the absence of connection. You can be surrounded by a crowd and still feel lonely if the people around you do not truly see or understand you. On the other hand, you can be physically alone and still feel whole, full, and at peace. Peace is expensive because it often costs you relationships, opportunities, and even approval. But it's worth it, because when you have peace, you have the mental clarity to make wise decisions. You have the emotional stability to face challenges without falling apart. You have the spiritual strength to keep walking forward even when the road gets hard. I know some people might think, I don't want to be alone forever. Choosing peace doesn't mean you'll be alone forever. It means you'll be ready when the right company comes. It means you'll be able to recognize healthy love because you haven't filled your life with unhealthy love. It means you'll be able to say yes to the right people without the fear of losing yourself in the process. Peace over company is also a sign of growth. Once upon a time, you might have tolerated chaos just to feel wanted. You might have ignored the red flags just to have someone to text at night. But now you've grown. Now you understand that every moment spent with the wrong person is a moment stolen from the right season of your life. When you live with peace as a priority, you stop entertaining people who drain your energy. You stop arguing with those committed to misunderstanding you. You stop letting guilt manipulate you into staying connected to those who don't respect your boundaries. Peace over company doesn't mean you won't love people. It means you'll love them from a safe distance if necessary. It means you'll pray for them, wish them well, but keep your peace intact. It means you can forgive without having to reconnect. And here's the truth. Peace attracts the right company. You are grounded, calm, and content. You become magnetic to people who are also whole, healthy, and life-giving. The wrong people thrive in chaos. Right people cherish peace. Don't let the fear of missing out push you into rooms where your spirit is uneasy. Don't let the pressure of society's timelines convince you to settle for company that costs you your sleep, your joy, or your sanity. You are not desperate, you are discerning. There will be days when your phone is quiet, when your schedule is empty. And when you wonder if you made the right choice to distance yourself from certain people. And on those days, you'll remember how it felt when your heart was unsettled, when your mind was restless, when your spirit was heavy. You'll remember that peace is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. The right relationships, whether friendships, family bonds, or romantic connections, will not force you to choose between love and peace. They will bring both. They will feel like home, not like a battlefield. They will align with your values, not constantly challenge your boundaries. So guard your peace like the treasure it is. Because once it's gone, it's hard to get back. You can always meet new people, but you cannot easily repair the damage caused by allowing the wrong ones too close for too long. It is not weakness to protect your peace. It is wisdom. It is not selfishness to guard your space. It is stewardship. You are the keeper of your own atmosphere, the gatekeeper of your own soul, and it is your responsibility to decide who gets access. So walk away from the noise, step back from the drama, silence the chaos, because in the quiet, you will find your strength again. In the stillness, you will hear your purpose more clearly. In the peace, you will rediscover yourself. And when the time is right, the right people will join you, not to disrupt your peace, but to share it. Not to drain your soul, to pour into it, not to fill an empty space, but to celebrate the fullness you already carry. There is a beauty in love, an undeniable sweetness in romance, warmth in companionship that can light up the soul. But as wonderful as romance can be, it was never designed to replace your purpose. Too many people lose themselves chasing a love story while neglecting the life story God is calling them to write. They get so caught up in finding the one that they forget to become the one they were created to be. They put their calling on the back burner, thinking, I'll focus on my dreams once I find the right partner. But here's the truth. Your purpose cannot wait for romance to arrive. Purpose over romance is not a rejection of love. It is a reordering of priorities. It is the understanding that a relationship, no matter how beautiful, cannot fulfill the divine mission you were placed on this earth to accomplish. Romance can complement your journey, but it should never control it. When you live with purpose as your guiding compass, your decisions look different. You won't compromise your values for the sake of keeping someone interested. You won't shrink your dreams to make someone else comfortable. You won't abandon the assignment God gave you just because you fear losing their attention. Your purpose was given to you before you ever met them, before the first smile, the first date, or the first "I love you." There was already a vision planted in your heart. That vision is sacred. It is eternal. And while romance can inspire you, it should never distract you from that vision. I've seen too many people sacrifice their destiny on the altar of relationships that were never meant to last. They pause their goals, step back from their calling, and silence their voice because they're afraid their ambition will intimidate their partner. The right partner will never compete with your purpose. They will cheer for it, fight for it, and help you fulfill it. If someone truly loves you, they will never ask you to choose between them and your calling. They will understand that your purpose is not a threat to your relationship. It's the very thing that makes you who you are. Living with purpose over romance means you are intentional about where you invest your energy. It means you are not so desperate for affection that you lose sight of the bigger picture. It means you trust that if God has called you to something, He will bring the right people into your life at the right time. And let's be honest, sometimes romance is easier than purpose. Romance can be exciting, fun, and affirming in the moment, while purpose often requires discipline, sacrifice, and patience. Purpose will have you waking up early, staying up late, doing hard things with no applause. Romance, in its early stages, gives you instant emotional reward. That's why so many abandon their purpose for love. They want the immediate over the eternal. But here's the danger. A relationship without purpose is like a boat without a destination. You can be sailing together, laughing together, even loving each other. If you have no agreed direction, you will drift, and drifting always leads you somewhere you never intended to go. Purpose gives you direction. It gives you clarity. It anchors you when emotions run high and when challenges come. And if your romance is built on shared purpose, it will endure storms that would sink other relationships. You were not created just to fall in love. You were created to change something, build something, impact something, leave something behind that will outlast you. Your purpose is your contribution to the world, your legacy. Romance is a gift, but it's not the mission. Sometimes you have to walk away from relationships that feel good but pull you away from your calling. That's not selfish. It's stewardship. You have a responsibility to steward the gift of purpose God placed in you. Anyone who cannot respect that is not meant to go where you are going. When you choose purpose over romance, you start to see love differently. You stop chasing the kind of love that distracts you, and you start attracting the kind of love that aligns with you. You stop settling for someone who merely loves the idea of you, and you wait for someone who loves the mission inside of you. Purpose is also what sustains you when romance fades. Because here's the reality: feelings change, life gets busy, challenges come. While romance can rekindle, it's your shared sense of purpose that will keep you walking forward together when the butterflies aren't enough. If you are single, don't put your life on pause waiting for romance. Run toward your purpose with everything you have. Pour yourself into becoming the best version of yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Live fully now. And as you run, you will find that the right person will not slow you down. They will be running alongside you. If you are in a relationship, don't lose yourself in the process of loving someone else. Remember who you were before you met them. Remember the dreams you had, the passions you carried, and the goals you set. Keep those alive, protect them fiercely, and encourage your partner to do the same. Purpose over romance means your life is not built on whether someone stays or goes. It means you can love deeply, but you can also stand strong if love ends. Because your identity is not rooted in your relationship status. It's rooted in your assignment. One day, romance will end for all of us, either through time, separation, or life itself. But your purpose, that can leave an eternal mark. That can change lives long after you are gone. That is what you will be remembered for. So love when love comes. Cherish it, nurture it, but never let it cause you to neglect the work you were placed here to do. Never let the warmth of romance make you forget the fire of your calling. Purpose over romance is not the denial of love. It is the discipline of love. It's saying, I will love you, but I will not lose me. I will give to you. I will not abandon what God gave to me. I will walk with you, but I will not walk away from my destiny. And when you live like that, something incredible happens. Romance becomes richer, deeper, and more meaningful. Because now it's not about filling a void, it's about sharing an abundance. It's two whole, purpose-driven people coming together to multiply what they already have, not two incomplete people clinging to each other out of fear. A wise woman knows that her heart is her greatest treasure. It is the wellspring of her emotions, her dreams, her hopes, and her faith. And because it is so valuable, she does not hand it over carelessly. She guards it, not with walls of bitterness, with gates of wisdom. Guarding her heart does not mean she is closed off or incapable of love. It means she has learned from experience that not everyone who smiles at you has pure intentions, and not every person who says, I love you, is equipped to handle the weight of your soul. She understands that her heart is not a playground for someone's immaturity. It is not a storage room for someone's unresolved pain. It is not a practice field for someone learning how to love. Her heart is the sacred place where her faith grows, where her dreams are nurtured, where her identity is affirmed. That is why she refuses to give it away to anyone who has not proven themselves trustworthy. She does not confuse attraction with character. She does not mistake attention for commitment. She does not let someone's flattery blind her to their true intentions. Guarding her heart begins with knowing her worth. When you know what you carry, you stop offering discounts to people who only want a fraction of you. You stop negotiating your value for temporary affection. You stop tolerating treatment that dishonors your spirit. It also means she is not moved by pressure. She doesn't rush into relationships because of society's timeline, family's questions, or friends' comparisons. She would rather wait alone in peace than settle into a relationship that costs her joy. Guarding her heart also means she listens more than she speaks. She watches how someone treats others. She observes how they handle conflict. She notices whether their words align with their actions. Because she knows that love is not just what someone says, it's what they consistently do. She understands that boundaries are not barriers to love. They are bridges to healthy love. Boundaries keep love safe. They separate what builds her from what breaks her. And she will enforce them without apology, even if it means losing people along the way. This kind of guarding comes from lessons learned. Perhaps she once gave her heart too quickly and paid the price in sleepless nights and broken trust. Perhaps she once thought she could fix someone only to realize she could not heal wounds they refused to address. Those experiences did not make her bitter. They made her better. Guarding her heart also means she is intentional about what she feeds it. She doesn't entertain conversations that plant doubt, fear, or insecurity in her spirit. She doesn't consume media that glorifies unhealthy love. She doesn't keep company with those who normalize disrespect. Instead, she surrounds herself with voices that affirm her worth, environments that inspire her growth, and relationships that push her toward her purpose. When she prays, she asks for discernment. She asks for the wisdom to know when to open her heart and when to protect it. She asks for the courage to walk away from what does not honor God's plan for her life, even if her emotions want to stay. Guarding her heart does not make her hard. It makes her strong. It gives her the power to love deeply without losing herself. It allows her to show compassion without becoming a doormat. It equips her to forgive without being foolish. She knows the difference between vulnerability and recklessness. Vulnerability is opening your heart to someone who has proven they will handle it with care. Recklessness is opening your heart to someone simply because they asked. She chooses the first every time. Her heart is not up for auction to the highest bidder. It is not for sale to the smoothest talker. It is not available to the one who only wants the thrill of the chase. Her heart is for the one who will stay when things are hard, who will honor her in public and in private, who will see her not just as she is, but as she is becoming. She understands that guarding her heart also means guarding her time and energy. Love is not just about emotions, it is about investment. And she will not invest her time into people who have no vision for the future, no respect for her boundaries, and no consistency in their actions. Her guard is not made of fear, but of faith. Faith that if she waits, the right person will come. Faith that she does not have to compromise her standards to be loved. Faith that God's timing is perfect. His plan will not require her to abandon her peace. And when the right one does come, she will not make them jump through endless hoops. She will recognize them by the peace they bring, the safety they create, and the way they honor her without asking her to be less than who she is. She will open her heart. Not because she's desperate, but because she's discerning. Guarding her heart means she does not confuse loneliness with readiness. Just because she feels alone does not mean she is prepared to share her life. She takes the time to heal, to grow, to strengthen herself, that when she does give her heart, it is whole, healthy, and free. She has learned that true love is not a hurricane that sweeps in and leaves chaos behind. It is a steady current that carries you toward purpose, peace, and growth. That is the kind of love she will wait for, and she will guard her heart until it comes. So she keeps her standards high, her spirit open, and her boundaries firm. She refuses to settle for love that costs her respect, joy, or identity. She knows that guarding her heart is not about keeping love out. It's about keeping the wrong love out. And in the meantime, she pours love into herself. She builds her dreams. She deepens her faith. She surrounds herself with life-giving people. She lives fully, knowing that whether or not someone joins her journey, her heart will remain whole, vibrant, and protected. Because she knows this truth. When you guard your heart, you give love its best chance to thrive. You create the space for the right person to enter. When they do, they will find a heart worth keeping. Until then, she will keep her peace, keep her joy, and keep her heart safe. Not out of fear of being hurt, out of reverence for the treasure she carries. Because a guarded heart is not a closed heart. It is a wise heart. There comes a moment in every strong woman's journey when she realizes she does not need applause to confirm her worth. She does not need likes on a screen to feel loved. She does not need the approval of others to stand tall. That moment is when she chooses value over validation. Validation is addictive. It gives you a quick rush, a compliment, a text back, a little attention, and for a moment it feels good. But like sugar, fades fast. If you build your worth on validation, you will always need more, and you will always fear losing it. You will live in a constant cycle of proving yourself to people who may never truly see you. Value is different. Value is deep, lasting, and unshakable. It's knowing who you are even when no one is clapping. It's being able to walk into a room without wondering who is watching. It's standing firm in your truth even when others misunderstand or underestimate you. Choosing value over validation means you understand that your worth does not come from being seen. It comes from being whole. You don't need someone else's opinion to confirm what you already know in your heart, that you are worthy, loved, and enough. When a woman lives for validation, she becomes vulnerable to manipulation. She starts to adjust herself to get the approval she craves. Changing her appearance, silencing her voice, shrinking her dreams. She will tolerate disrespect just to avoid rejection. She will stay in rooms where she is not valued because she fears the silence outside. But when she knows her value, everything changes. She will not stay where she is merely tolerated. She will not lower her standards for the sake of keeping someone's attention. She will not let anyone's opinion dictate her identity. Value over validation means she has learned to affirm herself. She speaks life over her own heart. She celebrates her own wins, no matter how small. She looks in the mirror and sees not flaws, but a story, a journey of growth, resilience, and grace. Living with value means you can walk away from people who refuse to honor you without feeling like you've lost something essential. You understand that losing someone who doesn't value you is not a loss, it's a gain. It's the removal of a weight you were never meant to carry. When you choose value over validation, you also stop competing with others. You realize there is no need to compare your journey to theirs because your worth was never based on being better than anyone else. It was based on being exactly who you were made to be. And here's the truth: people's opinions change. One day they love you, the next day they criticize you. If you live for validation, you will live on an emotional roller coaster, your peace rising and falling with their approval. But if you live from a place of value, you remain steady. Their opinions may shift, but your worth stays the same. Value is also what protects you in relationships. If you are chasing validation, you will overlook red flags just to hear the words, "I love you." You will settle for breadcrumbs of attention because you are starving for affirmation. When you know your value, you don't need someone to constantly prove you matter. You already know you do. You can enjoy love without depending on it for your self-worth. Sometimes choosing value over validation means being misunderstood. It means saying no when others expect a yes. It means walking away from circles that no longer align with your growth. It means staying focused on your purpose even when others are chasing popularity. When you no longer need validation, you're actually freer to receive love and encouragement. Because now you're not dependent on it. You can enjoy it without being enslaved to it. You can appreciate compliments without them becoming your fuel. Choosing value means you are no longer in a constant audition for acceptance. You have the part. You are already chosen. You're not performing for applause. You're living from a place of already being enough. This shift is powerful because it changes how you handle rejection. When you live for validation, rejection feels like the end of the world. When you live from value, rejection is simply redirection. It doesn't shake your identity. It just points you toward where you truly belong. It also changes how you love. If you live for validation, you'll love out of fear of losing their approval. But if you live from value, you'll love from abundance. You'll love without losing yourself. You'll give without expecting to be completed in return. When you know your value, you stop chasing after people who don't choose you. You stop watering relationships that don't grow. You stop trying to explain your worth to those who are committed to overlooking it. And here's the most beautiful part. Once you live from value, you inspire others to do the same. You become a mirror showing them what it looks like to stand in your worth. You show them that it is possible to live without constant validation and still walk in joy, strength, and peace. So choose value over validation. Choose the slow, steady strength of self-worth over the fleeting thrill of approval. Choose to be rooted, not swayed. Choose to be whole, not dependent. There comes a point in a woman's life when she looks at herself in the mirror and says, "I can't keep trading my peace for pieces of love that break me." That's when she chooses freedom over compromise. Compromise can be healthy when it's about understanding and mutual respect. The kind of compromise that drains your soul, the kind that forces you to shrink, silence yourself, sacrifice your identity, will cost you far more than it gives. That's not compromise, that's captivity. Freedom is not just the absence of chains. It's the presence of wholeness. It's the ability to live as your authentic self without fear of rejection. It's the liberty to walk in your truth, even if it means walking alone. It's the courage to let go of what is comfortable but unfulfilling and to embrace what is uncertain but true. Choosing freedom over compromise means you no longer agree to deals that cost you your dignity. You no longer bend so far that you break. You no longer accept half-hearted love just to avoid being alone. You understand that your time, your body, your energy, your dreams, they are sacred. You will not trade them for cheap attention or conditional acceptance. See, when you compromise your core values, you slowly lose yourself. At first, it feels small, staying quiet when you should speak up, ignoring a red flag because you want to believe it will change. Pretending you're okay when you're not. But over time, these small concessions chip away at your sense of self until one day you wake up and don't recognize the woman staring back at you. Here's the truth: freedom is not always comfortable. Sometimes means walking away from the relationship you prayed would work out. Sometimes it means leaving the job that's paying your bills but stealing your joy. Sometimes it means setting boundaries that make other people uncomfortable. Freedom knows that short-term discomfort is worth long-term peace. Choosing freedom over compromise also means refusing to negotiate your worth in the marketplace of relationships. You are not a clearance item. You are not an optional upgrade. You are the full package. If someone cannot honor that, their inability to see your value is not your invitation to lower your price. It's your sign to walk away. Freedom requires courage because it often puts you in the minority. Most people will settle. Most people will stay in situations that make them miserable because it feels safer than stepping into the unknown. A free woman is not controlled by the fear of what if. She trusts that she is capable of building a life that aligns with her truth, even if it means starting over. And let's be clear, freedom is not recklessness. It's not about refusing to ever adjust or work with others. It's about refusing to adjust in ways that cost you your self-respect. Healthy compromise comes from strength. Toxic compromise comes from fear. Freedom helps you know the difference. When you choose freedom over compromise, you also protect your future. Every time you settle for less than you deserve, you set a precedent for what you will accept. But when you hold your standard, you send a message to yourself and to others that you will not be bought, bullied, or bribed into a lesser life. Freedom is also deeply spiritual. It's knowing that you were created with intention. That intention is worth protecting. It's trusting that you were not placed on this earth just to please people. You were placed here to fulfill purpose. Any situation that forces you to betray that purpose is not worth keeping. Choosing freedom might mean being misunderstood. People might call you too picky, too independent, or hard to please. Let them. They call too much is often just enough for the woman who knows her worth. Freedom isn't about convincing others to approve. It's about living in a way that you can approve of when you look in the mirror. It also means releasing the guilt that comes with disappointing people who benefit from your compromise. Some people will resist your freedom because they liked you better when you were easier to control. They will say you've changed, and you have. You've changed from being a prisoner of their comfort to the protector of your own peace. When you live in freedom, you start making choices differently. You don't ask, will they like this? You ask, does this honor me? You don't ask, will they stay? You ask, will I still respect myself? You no longer measure success by how much you can hold on to. You measure it by how much you can let go of without losing yourself. And here's the beautiful part freedom multiplies. The moment you break the chains in one area of your life, you gain strength to break them in others. You stop tolerating what drains you. You stop chasing what's not for you. You stop apologizing for who you are. Freedom is the soil where your purpose grows. When you are not constantly negotiating your worth, you have the time, energy, and confidence to invest in your calling. You can love without fear, work without resentment, and live without regret. And yes, freedom sometimes feels lonely. There may be seasons when you have to walk without a crowd, out applause, without the safety net of a relationship. But that's when you learn that solitude is not the same as emptiness. In solitude, you find your strength. In solitude, you hear your own voice. In solitude, you discover that your freedom is not a burden. It's a blessing. You can live in the comfort of compromise, always wondering what life could have been if you'd had the courage to be fully you. Or you can step into the wild, beautiful, sometimes unpredictable territory of freedom and find out just how much life can hold when you refuse to shrink for it. Because freedom is not the reward for perfection, it's the reward for courage. And the woman who chooses freedom over compromise will never have to ask, what would my life look like if I had stayed true to myself? She will know. She will be living it. Freedom over compromise isn't just a choice, it's a declaration. I am mine before I am anyone else's, and I will not give away my liberty just to be loved. I will be loved in freedom, or I will not be loved at all.